What's up and welcome back to another video. Guys, today I'm going to be embarking on another mock challenge, but this isn't just one of my ordinary mock challenges because I'm going to be changing a few things up. First, the scale of this mock is going to be a lot bigger. I've already set out the base plates that I want to use. That is because I'm going to be home for a few days, and I figured what better time to do a larger scale mock than right now, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And also, the focus of this mock isn't going to be my normal clone troopers or droids. It is going to be more in the era of the original trilogy and Star Wars Rebels. So we're going to be building a pretty large rebel base, and they're going to be getting attacked by some stormtroopers or the Empire. So I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do yet, but I've started to lay this out. I am going to be reusing this small little base bunker that I used in a previous video, just because I think the foundation of it is pretty good and it's a very strong foundation, so I'll be able to build on top of it. I'm going to bring it coming out this way quite a bit more. Right here I want to do a big landing pad and put one of my favorite ships on there, which you will see later. And then in this whole area we'll have a battle. Now, one of the biggest issues is that, if you know me, I am a big Lego collector, but my collection is about, I would say, 90% prequel and Clone Wars based. So I really don't have a large amount of anything from the original trilogies. That's minifigures and sets. So we're gonna have to think pretty outside of the box here. I don't really want to spend any money on this mock because I am trying to save more money right now. So I'm gonna see what I can do with what I have. We should be able to stretch it out and make something work. So I'm excited to see how this all comes together. So without further ado, let's get right on into this mock. I started off by filling out the foundation of the landing pad. I wanted to make it as big as I could so it could actually fit the ship that I wanted to put on it. Because it is a larger ship, I also have to make sure that it was flush with the base so it didn't look off and have a big drop down gap. Then I filled in with filler and added in a ton of tiling. Now, I don't have a ton of tiles in my collection, so this was a bit of a challenge. I had to go and source a ton of tiles for this. I was able to tile off the landing pad just barely. It was a hard fought battle, but I prevailed at the cost of the interior of the base, though. I had to take out all of the tiling from in there so I could complete this. I don't have a lot of tiling. Another reason for doing a larger scale mock like this is to find out what kind of pieces I need for more mocks in the future, and tiles are definitely one of them. But to be fair, I don't think anyone ever has enough tiles. Everyone's always running out. But I was able to get this tiled off to the best of my ability, and now we can add in the ship that I wanted to get in. The whole reason that I'm building this mock is because I wanted to use the Ghost in a mock, and we've made it big enough to the point where the Ghost can actually fit very nicely on the landing pad and it doesn't look out of proportion. So I'm gonna have that there. I'll change it up a little and I'll add more detailing to the landing pad as well. Some anti-air defenses, a bunch of crates and other minifigures, but that's gonna come after the rest is built. But I think now it's time to turn the focus toward the actual base, because right now we really only have this small side entrance, or maybe that will be the front. I'm not really sure how I want to orientate it, but all I know is that it looks very sad right now, so we have to beef it up. I'm going to bring it out this way a bit. Now, I don't have any tiles left, so I have no clue how I'm going to do any sort of interior or roof. So, yeah, I don't really know. We're going to figure it out, and I'll hit you with a time lapse of me working on that. Okay, I've been messing around with this area in the front, trying to make the other part of this base for about 2 hours now, and it's just not looking likely currently. These are all of the pieces that I have left, is what you see on the table right now. As for the gray kind of colored pieces, I have some more down here, but it's just bricks. So I'm not really sure what I want to do. Pretty much all my tiles are being used up in the landing platform over there and the other base, but that little base in the back isn't enough to be used on its own, I don't think. So I really have no clue what I'm going to do. I need to make something work. I can't really place an order for parts because I really only have this weekend to build this. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to sleep and come back tomorrow and see if I can think of something to do to finish off this base and make it look like one big cohesive base and not two weird separate things. Okay, I woke up and I did some work on the front area of this base, and I think it's coming along okay. Unfortunately, I really can't do any bigger than this just with the pieces that I currently have. At least now I know that I need to purchase some more pieces if I want to do bigger scale mocks. But that's the base for now. I want to try and make it bigger if I can later on, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, just the pieces that I have on hand. So now I think it's time that we move to the outside and start tackling that. Now, I kind of have a ton of space. It's covered up in pieces, so you can't really see, to fill in. And like I was saying earlier, I don't really have much to really fill it in with. I was going to do like a foresty scene with maybe like a crashed TIE fighter, because the TIE fighter, I'm pretty sure, is the only Imperial set that I have. So I really am not sure what I want to do out here. I wanted to do like a big battle, but I need to build the terrain first, and I really don't have many terrain pieces. That is also another thing that I need to get. So I'm going to do some brainstorming and see what I can do out here. I might have to make it a little bit smaller. However, I don't know how I would do that, because I don't know, it wouldn't be even with the base plates, but I will think of something and I'll get you a time lapse of me working on all of that. Okay, this may not look like much, but when I tell you that this took all of yesterday, I am not joking. I do not have enough of brown or green parts, so it was really hard, to say the least, to fill this up with pieces and actually just full block it out. That's why there's no time lapse, because it took me, I was just on and off all day trying to scrounge up the parts. You can see we have some crazy ones back there. I don't even see it. You see how dusty that piece is? I don't even know where it came from. I was pulling pieces out of spots that I didn't even know that I had Lego pieces. But I was able to get this finally like all tiled off, not tiled off, but I got plates down so I can actually put the detailing on and not have it on top of like gray and sand colored stuff, so it doesn't look weird. So now I can finally do the detailing. Hopefully that should not take as long. Up here I had to do like a bit of a like muddy kind of area, which I think looks honestly not that bad. Of course there's like the muddy like paths that I put in, because you know, if they're walking there, it's going to be, there's not really going to be any grass built up, and I think that looks good. And right here I guess is just like a muddy kind of sandy area, and right here I have a spot set aside for where I can put a TIE fighter that is going to be crashed. I'll slot it in a bit better later, but it's supposed to sit just like that, and I think it looks pretty good like that, nice and crashed. You can see like the dirt where this would have like ran through and dragged on either side. So that's coming along pretty well, and overall the mock's coming along pretty well in my opinion. It's just this took forever. It took an entire, like, I'm not even joking when I say that. All day yesterday I was just on and off trying to figure out how to get this done, but I prevailed, and now it's time to get to some of the more fun things now that that is finally over, which is doing the detailing, and then we can get into finishing this mock. My goal with adding in the foliage was to completely cover all of the studs so you couldn't see the base plate beneath, but this quickly proved to be a challenge with my small collection of different leaves and grass pieces, but I was able to make it work just barely. I put little stubs for outlines where I wanted to put trees later on and added in a stump, and then I started just building a ton of different plants to fill in all of the space, because it's a ton of base plate to fill up with such a little amount of parts. But I was pretty happy with some of the custom plants that I did in that area. Then I just started mimicking it on the other side, but this is where I ran into an issue where I was kind of running out of pieces, so I really had to stretch them. Okay, this foliage work is taking some time. It's been like an hour and a half of me just sitting here doing this, so I'm going to take a break and then I'll finish it probably later. I probably won't start another time lapse because it's just going to be the same thing that you've seen me been doing for this past like pretty long time, but I'll give you a quick little update. We have this part is kind of completely done. Some nice stacked up foliage. These two little stumps are, I'm going to build trees a little later, and I was able to put this tree in for the medieval, or from the medieval Times Square, not Times Square, I forget what it's called, but yeah, but I think it's a little bit out of place, but I do think it works pretty well. And then all of this, I just want to kind of just be full grass. I'm not going to put trees in because I think that's going to obstruct the view of the base. But I need to take a break because my fingers hurt. I'm tired. So I'm going to go. I'll finish this off of time lapse and I'll catch you guys once I finish this. I'm going to try and finish it tonight, but if not, well, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, I have finished the foliage and it took literally every single piece, grass, leaf, or just anything green that I had in my entire collection. All of it is right here out. Now, unfortunately, some spots are a bit less like full up than others, especially up here, like compared to here. But my excuse is that that because this is closer to the base, you know, they take care of it. for sure, definitely, and they like mow it and stuff and don't just let it grow out like over here. Definitely not just because I ran out of pieces, but yes, there's definitely more pieces that I need to buy, but I think with what I had, this turned out pretty good. And now that the whole outside is done, I will say I think the trees are a little bit lacking. They're not great, but they definitely do fill up the area pretty well, so I will be keeping them. But I need to work on my tree building and find some better and new designs. But now it is time to finish this off, add in all of the details and all of the minifigures, and then this mock will be done. So I will get you with a time lapse of me finishing off this mock. My first order of business was finishing off the interior of the base. So first I added in just some random kind of gun racks and crates to make it look a bit more lived in. And then I started adding in some generators. Now I didn't want to overcomplicate things because I wanted there to be room for minifigures and I didn't want to take away from the overall aesthetic that I was going for. But I think I got a nice in between of detail without kind of taking away from the rest of the base. After that, I moved to the landing pad where I put in the ghost and a bunch of random crates. And then I finished off the foliage area in the front. Then it was time to move to the TIE fighter, which I had to make look like it crashed. So I added a bunch of different fire pieces. Okay, the detailing is done for the most part. There's still a few final touches that I want to put on when I do move in to do the minifigures. But like I said earlier, my minifigure collection for the original trilogy is lacking, so I actually have to make a sacrifice, which is going to be taking apart a ton of my sig figs to get the helmet so I can make some stormtroopers. I've gathered up a few over here and some more back at my desk. So I'm going to go make a ton of stormtroopers so we can actually have stormtroopers for this mock, and then I will get you the time lapse of me finalizing and finally finishing this mock. This is where the fun begins. It is time to add in all of the minifigures. I started off on the landing pad and then quickly moved to the exterior of the base where I wanted to put in all of my rebels and stormtroopers. Now I didn't have that many rebels, so I really had to stretch them out. So after I put down the rebels that I had to go and find some more. I got a little creative with it, as you will see, but I got all the stormtroopers down. I got Vader to lead them to fight Luke Skywalker, and then I've got the other stormtroopers back there as well, and I added in some more rebels. Then I moved to the interior of the base and I put some characters around the holotable and then others just to make it look more lived in. And the mock is finally finished. It took about 3 days of on and off building. There's definitely a few downsides, but also a lot of positives. There's definitely a ton of pieces that I'm going to need to order, and if I want to do more mocks like this, I'm gonna have to definitely get some more rebels. Before we get into this though, I just wanted to let everyone know that I am running a giveaway for a 501st battle pack. I'll leave a link to the description for that video on how you can enter that. If you want to enter, it's a free battle pack and I'll be drawing that winner. You still have about a week to enter, but I'll leave a link to the video down below in the description of this video so you can check that out if you are interested in entering in that. But now it is time to get into this mock. Now this is one of the bigger mocks that I've done, just like full on base plate wise. I think the base did leave quite a bit to be desired, but with my current number of pieces, it's the best that I could do. Definitely some more of the pieces that I'm going to be getting. We'll start off over here on the outside, kind of. I went for like a kind of an odd, like muddy desert area just because I didn't have any other green pieces to make it foresty over here. But honestly, I really like the contrast of how this turned out. In the back here, we have Thrawn talking to Boba Fett and another officer kind of getting the battle plan, getting ready to send Boba Fett in on some sort of flank to get into the base secretly, just having a little bit of a conversation, getting the battle plan out there. I think they look really cool there. I think this newer version of Grand Admiral Thrawn looks really nice in mocks, and it does really bring this together. If we move over here, we have the crashed TIE fighter, which I think turned out really good and really adds a lot to this mock. You'll be able to see it from some other angles later. This isn't the best angle for it, but I did put the pilot down there. I thought maybe he lives, you know. I don't know how safe TIE fighters are when they crash. I don't know if they have airbags in there, but I'd probably doubt it. But he looks okay. Maybe he'll make it through. And then we have a bunch of other stormtroopers. Like I said, there'll be some better angles later on. It's just from the backside. They don't look too great. But we have one bit of stormtroopers here led by a mortar trooper. And then we have more up here with Darth Vader taking on Luke and some other rebels. We have pretty much all of my rebels out. Like I said, I don't have a large rebel collection, so I really only had a few. I had to get really creative and make some like just out of random pieces from Castle minifigures as well. But I had these two were really the only two that I had, the two fleet troopers, and I gave them dual molded legs, and I think they look really good. We also have a Cassian Andor back there. He's out of focus. I don't know if you can see him, but I figured I'd throw him in because he's kind of a rebel. And then back here, we've got some Hoth troopers led by I think that's is that, I forget who that is. I think that's not Captain Antilles. It might be. I don't know. Let me know who that guy in the like tan get up is down below in the comment section, because I forgot. But yeah, there's some Hoth troopers here. It doesn't really make sense why there would be Hoth troopers on a foresty planet, but it's up to your imagination. You know, maybe they were shorthanded. This base is definitely understaffed, just given the minifigures that I have in my collection. I'm definitely going to need to buy some more original trilogy minifigures. Hopefully when that battle pack comes out, I'll be able to beef up my army so I can do more mocks like this and definitely fletch them out a little bit more. And then the entrance to the base, I think it's not bad. It turned out okay. I'll get a little closer in a moment once we do get over there. I have just a minifigure kind of running in there. I really like the door shape, but other than the door shape, I think the whole just overall front of the base isn't too appealing. I need to buy some more sloped pieces so I can start making some variations in the walls, so it's not just, you know, straight up walls, and that would make it look a bit better. And then lastly, for the outside kind of area, we have this little squad of scout troopers running through the foresty area, and then we have just like the kind of barren forest over here. To imagine this would come into a lot more forest off of the base plate, and it would be a lot bigger out there. But that does kind of do it for this angle of the base. I'm gonna cut the camera and turn this around, because this thing is a pain to turn around on this table, because the table is just about the same size as the mock, so it's a challenge. So I'll cut and I'll catch you guys on the other angle. Now we have a better angle to take a look at this battle. As you can see, I think the TIE Fighter looks a lot better from this angle facing forward, and you can see all of the stormtroopers in frame there. They look very menacing running up along this path, and then you get another view of Luke and I almost said Anakin, Luke and Darth Vader over there, and then you also have those scout troopers trudging through the jungle. But we'll move over to the base now. Now, the main thing that I wanted to capture with this base was a large landing pad, because I really wanted to include the Ghost in a build, because I think it's one of the coolest designed ships and one of my favorite sets in the recent years. So that is what I ended up doing. But before we move to the landing pad, we'll take a look at the base just while we're kind of at this angle. Now, the way that this was put together, the base actually isn't connected to the rest of the build. Everything else is connected, but this is kind of on its own. And that's because it was kind of reused from a previous video. If you did see that one, I thought that one was a pretty good one. So check it out if you haven't already. But for the top of the base, I decided to leave it nice and open. I just put this ship up there because I felt really plain without it, and it does fit very nicely in scale. Now there's this small area right here that I wasn't able to utilize very well, and I kind of am regretting not utilizing it better, because it could have been a cool small interior, at least to throw in some sort of Easter egg. But this whole roof actually comes out, so we can get in here and take a look a bit closer and get some better access, and then we can actually have light in there and not have to stare in the dark. So this comes off super easily. It's really nice doing roofs like this, because it makes it so you can actually take them off. I've done mocks before where I haven't, and it's just a pain. But the inside of this mock, I didn't have too much going on, just because I didn't want to be able to see through the doorway and like just have everything out in the open. But starting off, I guess right here, we have a small hollow table that I put together. We'll move Chewbacca out of the way so you can actually take a look at it, because I think the design came out pretty good for the hollow table. And around it, we have Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and then 2 pilots. I put the 2 pilots there with the, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a little trans visor. I think this is super cool. I think it looks really good on the pilots, and I'm happy to have 2 of them with it. I think it looks really nice, even though I think this one's a resistance pilot, but we don't have to talk about that. And then we have R2-D2 and a little mouse droid, and then I just threw in some random stuff on this side. There's like a small weapons rack that it's not focusing on for some reason, and then just some random cargo. If we move to the left, I didn't really know what to put here, so I decided to put just a bunch of like stuff, like energy, like charging things, some like different things for power and stuff. So I built up some sort of like power things with pipes. There's a droid over there, and there's also like a bunch of just wires and tubes and stuff, and I think this filled out pretty well. So I do like how this base turned out. I think this turned out better than when I used it in the other video. I think I utilized this space a bit better. And now we can move into the landing pad just by removing this like this, which I like. Ignore that orange. I had to save parts and use some colored filler brick. But for the front of this, there's not really much going on, but I really like how this connects to the rest of the plate, which we'll look at in a little bit. but I decided to keep it kind of just plain as a landing pad would be. It would have to be nice and open so ships could come and go. And the Ghost being a very big ship, I had to make it a pretty big landing pad. I was struggling with getting the pieces to do that, but I think it turned out pretty good. Over here, we just have some random crates and stuff to fill the area. And then coming here out of the Ghost, we have Hera and Chopper, and then the two other people that I don't know their names from because I didn't really watch the Ahsoka show, pulling out some cargo from the Ghost. I really like that it does have those little down flaps, like little boarding areas on the side, even though they're definitely not to scale and you can't get a minifigure up there. It is a very nice touch, and I do really like how this turned out. I'm gonna flip it around one last time so we can get one last look at this base. And here's the last angle I wanted to show off of this mock. You can just see the Ghost a bit better and this whole little scene going on there, as well as how it comes together. I really like how it is kind of flush with the base, and it kind of just shows that big opening area where the rebels would bring in their cargo and also just come in and out of the base. And I also connect it with a small staircase there where these rebels can come down and join the fight. And you can also get a better look at the battle. I really think the crashed TIE Fighter turned out really well. I really like how that turned out and looks, and it really adds a lot to this build in my opinion. And I also like the whole area over there. I'll give one last small overview. I do think this mock turned out really good, and I kind of enjoyed building this mock on not a very like tight kind of challenge. Now I love to do the challenges, but this kind of just allowed me to try some different things, really like weigh the parts in my collection and not be limited as I am in my other challenges. So if you want to see more videos like this, leave a like and consider subscribing. And if you want to see more original trilogy mocks and other just original trilogy Lego content in general, let me know in the comments and I'll try and do more, because it was a lot of fun to kind of take a little break from the prequels and the Clone Wars, but I still do love the clones. So I'll never stop doing Clone Wars content because it is my favorite. But yes, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below and consider subscribing to see more content. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew signing out.